I guess. Fuck, where'd my pick go? Oh my fucking god, did I lose another pick? Hi. So, some people asked me how to play some of the Yeetles songs on guitar. So instead of just giving them individually the tabs and just having this as a backup, overall I figured I'd just make a video for it. So I'm going to go through how to play every Yeetles song. Okay, let's start with "'Cause Your Thoughts." So this, technically the start would be "Pass the Weed," but that is not available. So I'm not going to show how to play that. Plus, that was over a year ago and I don't remember how, even though I could learn it. Anyway, start now would be "'Cause Your Thoughts," because that's the first published song by the Yeetles. So that was a few months ago. Anyway, if you want to play on guitar, it's in standard tuning. All the songs they may not be originally, but I'm gonna play them in standard. So you got E, low E, that one. You got A, you got D, you got G, B, and high E. So if your guitar isn't tuned, then tune it real quick. Start of "'Cause Your Thoughts" sounds like this. Some of the girls at my school suck dick for an A, and some do it for, yeah, anyway. So how you play that is it starts off with a G major. There are a few different ways you can play it. I play it with 3 fingers. I play it with one on the high E on the 3rd fret, one on the high E on the or one on the B on the 3rd fret, and then one on the low E on the 3rd fret. A G major. You can play it different ways. You can play it with 4 fingers. It's a little fuller sounding, but I prefer the 3 finger because it sounds a little bit more clean. Then it goes to a D. So once you have the G, it goes to a D major or just a D. That's 2nd fret on the G string, 2nd fret on the high E, and 3rd fret on the B. Should look like a little upside down triangle. So that's a D major. You can do all sorts of things with it. Then it goes to a E minor, which is 2 fingers, one on the A. Oh, by the way, for the D, you're going to want to cover up the low E. It doesn't fit, really. It just sounds better if you cover it up. You don't have to, but it's not that big a difference. It's just, it's there. Low E is open because it's an E chord. You have 1 finger on the 2nd fret of the A, 1 finger on the 2nd fret of the D. Then just strum everything. E minor. Then C major. 1 fret, 1st fret, B string. 2nd fret, D string. 3rd fret, A string. Then cover up the low E. Make sure you don't play it, but so that's "'Cause Your Thoughts." So it's pretty simple. Strumming pattern is some of it's down, 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 up, down, I think. Something along those lines, but So that's Cause Her Thoughts. The next song would be Hydro Flask, which has bar chords in it, so it's a little harder for beginners. A bar chord, basically, the way that I play it on electric, you can either play a full bar chord, which is pushing down every string. So that's like an F sharp major bar chord. You can also play bar chords where you're only pushing down the strings that the tips of your fingers are touching. So this is like an F sharp major, power chord, kinda. Even though a power chord usually doesn't have the third in it, third finger. Just, that's more like a power chord. So if you feel comfortable doing that, or you can just try and do it, starts off with an E. So it's basically an E minor, this chord from Cause Her Thoughts, with added an extra finger to make it a major. So it's 2 on the A, 2nd fret on the A, 2nd fret on the D, 1st fret on the G. Then you leave all the other strings open. So that's your E major right there. So yeah, that's an E major. Then it goes to a F sharp power chord. So you have a root on the low E right here, on the 2nd fret of the low E. It's your root. So take your ring finger, or Jesus Christ, your pointer finger. Put that there. Take your ring finger or middle finger. Ring finger is a little bit more comfortable to me, and put that on the 4th fret on the A. And then put your pinky on the 4th fret of the D. This is played on electric. That's why I do it that way. But yeah. So then you go to a G minor power chord. So it's that whole shape moved up 1 fret, everything. So 3 as a root, 3 on the low E, 5 on the A, and 5 on the D. 2 and A. Now you can play the A 2 ways. You can play, I'd kind of go back and forth. You can play it as this, or same thing. Just depends on what you're more comfortable with. An A this way. You cover up the low E, so that's not there, it's muted. You have an open A string. Then you pick the, you don't pick it, but I mean, it's in there, the 2nd fret on the D. Then everything else is muted. That's like a very Nirvana type chord in my opinion. It's used on like Rape Me. And that version of the A is what I use a lot of the time over this, which is also an A, which is a 5th fret. It's that shape moved up once again. So it's the 5th fret, low E, 7th fret A, 7th fret D. So that's what it is. Pretty simple. And that's Hydro Flask. Then obviously the chorus is distorted. It's on electric, but I'm playing it on my acoustic, so can't really do that. I can plug it in, but I don't. What's the point? So that's Hydro Flask. Next would be Red Receipts. Red Receipts, I think. Yeah, it should be. So this is probably the most complicated Yeetles song I've written yet. So this is a lot harder. It starts off with that G major. So it's 3rd fret on the low E, 3rd fret on the B and the high E. And it goes. So that next part is you take the root note, which is this right here, this note right here, and you move it down 1 fret. So now it's an F sharp on the second fret of the low E. Then it goes, that's just for a split second, then it goes to a E minor 7th. You can play it as just an E minor if you want, if it's easier. The way I play it is a E minor 7th and E minor going back and forth, which a 7th is just the little added note on the 3rd fret on the B. So it goes. Too good a angle. So if you want to play it that way, it's E minor, which is 2nd fret on the A, 2nd fret on the D, and then 3rd fret on the B. So then you pull it off for the stroke up. Then you just do that back and forth. Then it goes to a C major. Cover up the low E, you don't pick that. The C on the 3rd fret of the A, that's your root note. So the C, if you don't remember it, it's 1 on the B, 2 on the D, 3 on the A. So then that note goes down 1, kind of like before with the goes down 1 fret. So what I do is I take off my ring finger, I take that one off, I move my middle finger up 1 string to the A from the D. Then after that, that's just for a split second as well, it goes to an A minor open chord, which is you cover up the low E again. I mean, you could leave it in still, doesn't make too much of a difference, but I just prefer it. It sounds a little cleaner without it. It's the open A. Then 2nd fret on the D, 2nd fret on the G, and 1st fret on the B. And then E is open as well, the high E. So if you got that, then it should go. And then it goes to a D, which D major we learned before in 'Cause They're Thoughts. That's 2nd fret on the G, 2nd fret on the high E, and 3rd fret on the B, with the D open string left in and the open A left in, and the low E is covered up. I cover it up with my thumb usually, just mutes it. But anyways, so all that together is. Then it just repeats. Then the chorus comes, and this is the harder part. I wrote it like Yesterday by the Beatles. I tried to keep in that similar category because I wanted to write a chorus where it was different notes, and it kind of followed the melody rather than just a bunch of chords. So the chorus follows the melody, which is, I don't know why she had to leave. She never said, but it doesn't surprise me that I've been left on red again. So that goes first little thing that happens is your root is on the 3rd fret of the low E. It's a G note with the open high E, and you pick them together like that, like this. Can't get a good angle, sorry. So that's it. And then you add your I add my ring finger to the 3rd fret, or the 3rd fret of the high E. That makes an octave, technically. So then you move your ring finger up to the 3rd fret, or I use my pinky. Go up to the 3rd fret of the E, high E. Then you move this all the way up to the 5th fret, and then your I'll just give you the notes because it's a little different, but your root note is A now, and your middle finger, or your index finger is on the 5th fret of the low E. Your pinky is on the high E, the 8th fret. So then you move your pinky, or you can switch to a different finger, down 1 fret to the 7th fret, and then on the high E you move it down again to the 5th fret. That makes another octave. So then you take your pinky, or whatever finger. I'm gonna keep saying what finger I use. You can use whatever finger as long as it works. You put that on the 8th fret of the B. Then I use my middle finger to go down to the 5th fret of the B. So I don't know why she had to leave. Then you move this little thing that you got down here down 2 frets to the G note. So we had this before, but it was not. You move from the high E to the B, but the notes are G, which is on the 3rd fret, low E, then the 3rd fret of the B. So that little next part is, which is the B is just a note on the B moving. You keep the root the same. So move from the 3rd fret up to the 5th on the B. Then you go back down to the 3rd. Then you go to an open B. Then you move your root from the G to F sharp. So it goes from. Then you add in the 1st fret of the B to the 3rd. And then you go to the. I switch my fingers down to here like this. I use my pointer as a root, and then my middle finger becomes goes on the B string. So you do that. It's just a bass line going down, I guess. So after that, it goes down to the 2nd fret. Then it goes back to the 1st on the B. Then it goes back off again. Then it goes down to the 1st fret. You got your middle finger on the 1st fret of the B. Your pointer finger on the 1st fret of the low E. So. So it's just a melody with the B string. It goes. So it goes from 1 to 3, back to 1 to 0 to 1. Then after that, you pick the G and the D. Then you just go to the 3rd on the low E, which is a G note again. And you pick the B and the G. That's it. I know it's rather hard. I can't play it sometimes. C. So yeah, that's the most complicated Yeetles song that I've written so far. Next we have Helter Skelter. I'll just show you the chords for that quickly. If you want to learn the whole song, go and learn it somewhere else, because it's not a song that we wrote, so it doesn't count, right? No. Basically, the intro starts off with 3 on the B and the 0 on the high E, and that's all you're playing. Downstrokes. Then that B, it keeps going down a fret to the 2nd, to the 1, and then by the time it goes to 1, before that's ended, it goes to a G major. So it goes like this. So that's that little intro. Then it goes to a G major bar chord, which is where you push everything down. So all the notes are in there. That's 1 on, or 3 on the low E, 5 on the A, 5 on the D, and 4 on the G. And then the other 2 open strings. Then it goes to a E7th, which is that E major we learned before. So you got the open E in there, open low E. Got a 2nd fret on the A, 2nd fret on the D, 1st fret on the G, and then you got your pinky on the 3rd fret of the B. The Beatles use that chord a lot. So it just goes back and forth between those. Don't you want me to make you? I'm coming down fast, but don't let me break you. Tell me your answer. You may be a lover, but you ain't no dancer. Oh, helter skelter, helter skelter, helter skelter. Yeah. So that part is after it goes from the back and forth from the G to the E minor, or E, 7th, goes back to G, and then it goes to the A. You can either go up to this A, or that A that we learned before. I prefer this version. So you already know, low E is covered up, A, open A, 2nd fret on the D, and the rest is muted. And then the D string, the note keeps going back from the 2nd to the 4th, to the 2nd to the 4th, to the 2nd to the 4th, to the 2nd, and then it does so like this. Then it does this little melody for when Helter Skelter comes in. So that's 5 on the D, to 4 on the D, to 2 on the D. Then it goes to, so like that. Then it goes to 5 on the A, to 4 on the A, to 2 on the A, to 0 on the A. Like that. And then after that, it goes to E minor, but only played with 1 finger. So you have the low E open, and then the A is covered up by the 2nd fret, and then the rest is muted. So that goes between the 2 and the 4 as well. So it goes. Then it does that same little, but up 1 string to, so 5 on the A, 4 on the A, 2 on the A, then 5 on the E, low E, 4 on the low E, 2 on the low E, and then 0 on the low E. That's really it. If you want to learn the solo and all the other stuff, go watch the video. I'm not going to teach the solos in this, that's mostly because I just play them. I don't write them out, and I improvise them on the spot, and I forget them. So I don't know how to replay them, especially the Yeetles version of Helter Skelter. The solo that I put in there is pretty wacky. I just did a bunch of stuff in A minor. That's what it's listed in. It was like, that's really all I remember doing. So the rest is, A minor is like a really easy key for me. Is the first one that I learned, and then you can move all the scale shapes for each key up and down. So I mean, A minor is just one I'm really comfortable with. So the solo was really easy to play for me, but just, yeah, go look it up if you want to learn Helter Skelter, because I can't do it that well. So I play it a little differently as well. But next is Spooky Scary Skeletons. This is a quick one. I forgot the chorus, so I'm going to go look at it real quick. I've got a notebook where I've written everything down, all my lyrics and stuff. So I opened the Spooky Scary Skeletons right away, actually. I know the verse. It's easy. It's G power chord, so 3 on the low E, 5 on the A, 5 on the D. Then you move that down 1 fret to an F sharp minor, or F sharp power chord, to a B minor, which is that shape up 1 string, or down 1 string, I guess. So that's all it is. So spooky, scary skeletons send shivers down your spine. The shrieking skulls will shock your soul and send you to your doom tonight. Simple. Once you get the hang of it, at least. And then for the chorus, this is a little harder because it goes pretty quickly, but it starts off on "We're," the lyric, "We're so sorry, skeletons." It starts off with "We're." It's a D major. So we already learned this in "Cause Their Thoughts" and probably another song. Oh yeah, and "Red Receipts." 2nd fret on the G, 2nd fret on the high E, and then 3rd fret on the B. We're so sorry, skeletons. Which, this is an A. You'd play it like that, I guess, but if you want to play the open version, you can play it like this. I prefer a different version of it, but it's just on the open A, no low E, D, 2nd fret, G, 2nd fret, and a B, 2nd fret, and then open high E. So we're so sorry, skeletons. Then B minor, which you can either do that, you can do that power chord. You're so misunderstood. So just do the power chords for those. You can, if you know the other chords, you can use those as well. Doing this is more like a beginner type thing. So we're so sorry, skeletons. You're so misunderstood. Then you go to that G power chord, which was used in the verse. Then you go to an E, which you already know that. 1st fret on the G, 2nd fret on the A, and 2nd fret on the D. Then it goes to a C major, which we already know that as well. 1st fret on the B, 2nd fret on the D, and 2nd fret on the A. Then a D minor, which is this. So it's a variation of a D, D major, D minor, or you can do, which I forgot what the name for that is technically. It's used in a Billie Eilish song. That's where I first saw it. That song, "Wish You Were Gay," I think it is. I haven't listened to her in a while though. Anyway, so you can do this, which is 1st fret on the high E, 3rd fret on the B, and 2nd fret on the G, and then covering up the low E, all the other strings included. Then it goes to a F sharp, which was used in the verse. It's that chord, the one on the 2nd fret. So 2nd fret on the low E, 4th fret on the A and 4th fret on the D. Then it just repeats, and that's it. So, we're so sorry, skeletons. You're so misunderstood. You only want to socialize, but I don't think we should. That's the chorus. And the spooky, scary skeletons. So, after that, we've got one song left. That's called Potter Street. And this is a fun song. I love this song. Yeah. So, anyway, it's a simple song. It's kind of like 'Cause Your Thoughts. There's no different chorus. All the chord progressions used throughout the whole song is just repeated. It goes a little slower at some point. It's like, in mid-October you left me, standing on Potter Street, wondering what I did, feel so weak. So, basically it starts off with a C. So you C like that. We learned that again just last song. First on the B, first fret on the B. 2nd fret on the D. 3rd fret on the A. And then no low E. That's covered up. C major. So it goes from there to a G minor. It's kind of like, it's more, I wouldn't even consider it a G minor. Let's see. G minor would be like this, I think, right? Yeah, that's A. So that would be a G minor technically. This sounds like, it's more of an open type neutral sound. So it's 2 fingers, one on the 3rd fret and one on the 2nd fret. One on the 3rd fret of low E, 3rd fret of low E, so right here. Right there. Then 2nd fret of the A. Then it goes to an E minor, which is 2nd fret on the A, 2nd fret on the D, low E is open, to an A, which we learned before as well, which is that shape right there. That's low E is not there, it's muted. A is open. What's that? Yeah, 2nd fret on the D, 2nd fret on the G, and 2nd fret on the B. Sorry, I'm tired. So that's it. Yep. And then, I guess technically around the it won't end this way. It won't end this way. It goes from C to G, then C to E minor, and it goes back and forth, and it goes back into the. So that's it. I don't think I missed any. Right? We're working on new stuff, so can't play that for you yet. Yeah. Now, one of the new songs we're working on, it starts off like this. I'm not going to show you how to play it, but I'm just going to play it for you. So it goes. That's it. Oh, also, OK Boomer. If you want to learn that, it's a C bar chord. So it's 3rd fret, A. C. 3rd fret A, 2nd fret, or 3rd fret A, 5th fret on the D, 5th fret on the G. That's a power chord version. Then that shape moves up 1 string to G. So 3rd fret, low E, 5th fret A, 5th fret D. And play it with 2 fingers like that to an E minor. Back to that G to a B. B minor, which, you know, it's 2nd fret on the A. 4th fret on the D and 4th fret on the G. Okay, boomer. Okay, if you want to play it that way, I'll see you in court. Okay, boomer. Last resort. We don't know if that's gonna be on an album or not. This is obviously gonna be a dead meme soon. Hydro Flask already is, but whatever. So that's how you play all our songs. Yeah. Fuck you. Bye. I like my cardigan. Everybody bullies me about it, but I mean, James called me a sweater wearing boomer.